everyone. Today I am going to dealing with the topic the second coming, a prophetic vision of politics, religion and crisis. Here are my academic information, table of content. So my research question is that how does Yeats, the second coming, employs the concept of historical cycles to predict societal collapse, and how has its apocalyptic imagery been interpreted in different historical and contemporary crises? So my hypothesis for this is that W.B. Yeats' The Second Coming is a prophetic poem that uses historical cycles to critique a political and religious transformation, foreseeing the breakdown of traditional structures and the emergence of a chaotic new order. The poem's apocalyptic imagery has been reinterpreted across different crises, from political upheavals to modern pandemics. So let's begin with introduction. So W. Yeats, a visionary poet, uh, Irish poet, playwright, and Nobel laureate, deeply involved in Irish politics, mysticism, and spiritualism. He was influenced by Irish mythology, the occult, and historical cycles. He was the key figures in Irish literary revival, shaping modern poetry. Context of the Second Coming. So, written in 1990, post World War One, amid global turmoil, reflects the political upheavals, revolutions, and collapsing empires influenced by Russian Revolution and Irish War of the Independence, inspired by its gyre theory, historical cycles of rise and fall. So the second coming is a political prophecy. So if we see the context, so the poem reflects the fear of uncertainty people felt after which people felt after the World War One. Society was still recovering from the war's destruction, and many believed the world was heading towards more chaos. Yeats' vision on that, so Yeats predict that another great conflict would come. His poem suggests that after the First World War, the world was on the path on even a worse war. Breakdown of order. So the falcon cannot hear the falconer. This line, this means that society has lost control. People are no longer following traditional values, leading to disorder. So analysis of anarchy. So mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drawn. This line suggests that violence and chaos are spreading in innocence is being destroyed by war political turmoil. Prophecy for conflict. So many believes it was predicting World War II, the most destructive war in history. He thought that European society was falling apart, and unfortunately, the rise of Hitler and fascism in 1930s proved him right. Antichrist. It describes a terrifying rough beast coming to power. This can be linked to leaders like Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin, who ruled with violence and oppressions. They represented a new cruel era. A rejection of orders. So the totalitarian regimes of World War II rejected traditional moral values. They spread and against Christian beliefs, creating a world filled with suffering and destructions. Seamus Jane connects the poem to its collection, Michael Roberts and Dancer, which also explores revolutions and political instability. So, second coming is a religious and cultural perspective. So, Yeats' poem and its interpretation. So, W.B. Yeats' poem, The Second Coming, is deeply influenced by religious, political, and spiritual themes written in aftermath of World War One. The biblical reference to the second coming of Christ suggests prophecy of radical change, but Yeats envision something dark and omniscious. Religious context and biblical allusion. So the poem draws from a Christian astrology, particularly Matthew 24, 27, 31, where Christ returns signals the end of times. The phrase "the second coming" carries strong religious connotations, often associated with judgment and renewal. It's, however, present an alternative vision, a rough beast rather than a savior suggesting chaos rather than salvation. Spiritual and occult influence. So Yeats was influenced by mysticism and occultism, explored in his book A Vision. His wife Georgia Heliles practiced automatic writing, which played a role in shaping its cyclical view of history. He believed in gyre or one era collapsing as another emergence reflected in the poem. So, contemporary relevance and pop culture. So, the idea of a prophesied savior remains relevant in various cultures and beliefs. So, Christianity. In Christianity, many believers still anticipate Christ's second coming, shaping their worldview and ethical conducts. However, in Hinduism, peoples are believe in Kalki avatar, which prophesied as a Lord Vishnu's final carnation, arriving in a restored balance. The second coming is a pandemic poem. So the themes of collapse and disorder. So the poem describes a world where things fall apart and mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood dimmed tide can symbolize the overwhelming loss of life in a pandemic. A rough beast is a metaphor for disease. So a shape with lion body and the head of man. This phrase represent as an unknown, uncontrollable force like a virus slouches toward Bethlehem to be born, suggest an impending disaster or transformation akin to the way a pandemic emergence and reshaped society. Connection to modern pandemics. So COVID-19 and the second coming shares theme of societal breakdown and fear of unknown future. The rough beast slouching towards Bethlehem can be read as an unstoppable crisis, like a virus reshaping the world. Elizabeth Otska's viral modernism highlights the pandemic influence literature and culture. So popular culture and pandemic narratives. So films like Contagion and novels like Stephen King's The Stand explore similar theme to of human helplessness against the disease, just as Yeats' poem captures the uncertainty of his era. Modern works reflect today's anxiety about pandemics and global crises. So here is one scholarly insight. So Harold Bloom, according to him, Yeats believes that a change in God was coming, and that the 200,000 year region of Christianity was about to end, but it does not reveal who is God will be. Its last two lines are questions, and and what rough beast it's overcome round at last slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. At the conclusion, W.B. Yeats' The Second Coming remains a strictly relevant poem offering a prophetic lens of political turmoil, religious transformation, and global crisis. Its vivid imagery of chaos and impending new era continues to resonate across historical and cultural connections, whether interpreted as a commentary on war, societal collapse, or modern pandemics. The poem captures the unsettling cycle of destruction and renewal that define human history. So here are my references, and thank you. Now, if you have any question, then feel free to ask me.
So, Krupali, my question is: does literature always reflect historical crises, or can it also create them by influencing public perception?
Yes, according to me, that literature is not always based on histories, because it also gives a new way to people think about history. As we, for example, book like 1984, which helps people to think about how political are working on the side, and that's how.
So Krupali, my question is, if second coming is a prophecy, do you think it's accurately predicted modern political and social crisis?
Yes, in some way I say yes. In modern in our time we find the Yeats also wrote about fear and chaos on his poetry. So in our time we also find that wars and political fights are also going on in the current situation. And as like Yeats write about that history moves in cycles. So I think this is about prophecy of our times. Okay, thank you.